Skwattakamp is a South African hip-hop group which was founded in 1996, and the group consists of 7 founding members and all had an equal role into what South African hip-hop is today.
One of South Africa's most successful hip-hop groups, Skwattakamp burst onto the music scene in 2001, and Nkululeko Habedi was one of the founding members.
So Infa, or just Infa, real name Sechaba Khalala, was born and raised in the Eastern Katlehong. He was introduced to rap music at the age of 11 by a neighbor and friend, Tepo.
People whispering how we were over, how Smacks and Slick took over.
In 2003, Sechaba graduated from UJ to become a graphic designer and joined the South African advertising industry. He'd freelanced at advertising agencies when the group was not busy, and because of his evolving nature as a creative, advertising got monotonous, so he started his own creative agency, which now produces a fashion brand called Black Power.
I know we lost Flabber and Nish, but where's Infa? This is from Tuto.
What it boils down to is that Infa left the group. He just felt that we weren't on the same wavelength in terms of vibing. So he was in another space and doing his, he needed to be somewhere else, with his well-being. And we didn't comply with that, according to him. So we let him be, but the door's always open should he ever feel that we are back on the same wavelength.
And we have Musawenkosi Nish Molefe, and guys, I tried my best to get information about him, but sometimes we do hit up OGs and they just don't get back to us. But anyway, he learned at John Orr Technical High School and sadly passed on the 5th of February 2021 due to the cause of COVID-19.
It's infant, it's got my features, the DNA of ripping.
My personal favorite, I don't care what anybody has to say, Shugasmakx, born in Soweto on the 28th of February 1983 to David Mutibe and Gloria Mahlaba. Lebogang Shugasmakx Mutibe has made his first television appearance at the tender age of 9, acting in various ads and programs from 1991 till 1997. And he moved from Soweto to Leondale in the East Rand in 1994, and this is where he met one of the other members, Siyabonga Sleka Metane.
So yo, just bear with us. Slay queens and slay kings, heads laid off.
So Sia Metane, well known in the music industry as Sleka, has a heart for music and a head for business. There was no plan, he says, but there was a deep sense that conforming to the expectations of his life would suffocate him. He tried for a while completing matric and studying computer engineering. He gave it up due to a lack of funds. And with a home-built studio put together with contributions from friends and family, he made music but felt as though it was a road to nowhere. There was music but no growth and seemingly no future. Until he met with the gang, and if you want to know about Slikour, go get his book. It's out everywhere for 200 Rand. Please support South African hip-hop, guys. Our next member, Flabber, aka Nkululeko Habedi. For me, I feel like if there was one rapper who we can say, okay, maybe you might take on Pro Kid, bro. Like, maybe you might stand a chance. It has to be Flabber. I think Flabber has success outside of Skwattakamp as well. Flabber has solo success. He's had awards on his own and nominations on his own. But anyway, it's almost safe to say that he is the group leader. With his debut album, Nkuli vs. Flabber, he brings in amazing rhymes and out-of-this-world punchlines. But sadly, he passed on years ago, and I don't want to start this video on that note. I hate speaking about things like this when it comes to our GOATs in South African hip-hop. We will get into that, but we just want to highlight the achievements and highlight where he's from and, how Skwattakamp actually came about. But anyway, Flabber actually won a summer award on his own and got numerous other nominations.
Flabber. Grab the bull by the horns, stakeholder. Come on. Come on. You hear it, Mkhukhu. Yes. Shake my uta. Grab the bull by the horns, stakeholder. Stakeholder. What's Slikour saying at that time?
Slick.
What did Slikour say? I couldn't afford to pay the bill because Mkhukhu.
Nemza and Bozza also have no early life information documented, but they were friends before the group was formed back in Heidelberg, and they had their own group called Cipher Gods.
I was friends with Nemza. Yeah. We had a group called Cipher Gods back in Heidelberg.
Why are you laughing? Just that name, though,
What a name. Yeah, and obviously Slick and Smacks have always been friends.
Yeah.
And Nish and Flabber as well. You know, because
We had our own group. It
The
was called
Connection.
It was called Exorcism.
And obviously, Slick and Smacks are the founders of Bada Bing Entertainment. So besides music, Skwattakamp has been so involved in hip hop because Bada Bing Entertainment, I mean, it's Tole Ukwesta, it's Tole Unota, you know, like, guys, Nota is also a very important piece of South African hip hop. So Slikour was Nemza's cousin's friend. So when he was exchanging tapes with his cousin, he realized, hey, you need to meet Slikour. Plus, Rap Activity Jam was the plug back then, and they had already heard Nemza on Rap Activity Jam. And they describe Skwattakamp as 4 groups put into one because some of these members actually have gone on to release solo projects.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing solo projects, you know, and we've been supporting each other throughout that even.
Skwattakamp was a diverse movement and they were all different. So with that trait of being different, why not get Osrifilwe Relo Makubo, who was actually the only female in the group who joined after some time. She met the crew through Infa. Infa's sister is married to Relo's brother. I don't know if that's still the case, but yeah. She could sing and she gave him some audition tapes and took her to Slikour, and Slikour said this.
And then he brought me to Slikour, and Slikour was like, yeah, we can work with that. We can work. And I'm like, you don't know. You don't know.
Is that good old-fashioned nepotism?
Exactly. Right there.
So think about this, right? All of this recording and making music was happening over Slikour or over Smacks, right? And since Slikour and Smacks were getting the equipment together, they had no choice but to, you know, split those duties between themselves, right? So now just imagine Umamaga Slikour or Umamaga Shugasmakx just walking there in the corridor, walking there by the door. She just hears this raw Skwattakamp music. Oh my God. What would she think?
But my mother was chilled. You know, there'd be like 100 people coming in the house. It's just that one day she'll hear us swearing like when Manyisa came out, and she'd literally come to me. So you know, and then I would literally almost be like Miser, like when I'd hear her telling someone else, one of the guys in the group, but you know,
Slick is lying. He was like, ma, me, I'm not part of the song.
Yes, it's Bozza.
Yeah, I want to lava. We Alexander.
So the group released 4 albums and a single mixtape during its existence. Their debut album, Khut En Joyn, was released in 2002 and was followed up by Mkhukhu Funkshen in 2003, which sold over 25,000 copies and was considered as their best album work to some extent. It was followed by Washumkhukhu the following year, and finally 5 years later, Fair And Skwear was released. The group has won numerous awards for their work, including 2 Summer Awards for Best Rap Album and the Channel O Best Hip Hop Music Video Award. Skwattakamp showed a lot of upcoming rappers in that time that being commercial at that level at that time. I mean, Best Rap Album twice at the Summers is crazy. Selling 25,000 copies of your album in 2003 is also heavy. They had competition like Amo and Zola. But as Slick said, it was always seen under the umbrella of Kwaito. But listen to what he says here.
We had Zola, we had Amo, we had all the guys doing what they were doing. And it was always, even though they were rapping, it was always seen under the umbrella of Kwaito. But the interesting thing about Manyisa is that it was recorded like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was Infa, Bozza was recording, because he does the chorus, you know. Yeah. And I was asleep, asleep. And you know when you're sleeping and you're hearing the, yes, Bozza, corruption, and then it goes to the chorus. I've never heard rapping like that in my life. I was half asleep, I woke up, and I think that started defining the vernacular rap. The way I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I think that was a sign of how everybody would wake up on how to mix English and vernacular together and still sound like you're still like a guy from the Ekasi, but you're influenced by this American thing.
Yeah.
So I think that was the beginning of that mixing vernacular properly.
I'd like to put one disclaimer with the Avugango one. Let's record again. No mama
But you know what?
But yeah, with Skwattakamp coming in the late 90s, it did take some time to achieve mainstream success. I mean, they sold their debut album Khut En Joyn from the boot of their cars, but they eventually blew up, and it was definitely their cultural appeal for me. Anyway, the Skwattakamp catalog is insane even today. They stopped recording music in 2009, and according to Nemza, they had to be in the right space. Relo felt as though she couldn't date during Skwattakamp time, and I mean, totally understand her.
It was a situation of we needed to be in the right space and the right mindset to do the music, you know, because there were too many things happening around us. But we've never really partied as a group.
Okay.
Let's just say it like this. If there was no other 6 people in the group and Nemza was on his own, all the contracts, they'll rip him off. Because all Nemza wants to do is, where am I going? I don't want to meet. I just want to rap. Let's do the damn thing.
It's not a work. It's just not a work.
That's all Nemza does. Nemza, let's have a meeting. I'm a meeting. One. 40. Meeting done. I need to speak in the studio. Oh, that was the stick on the work, though.
Obviously, sad news in March 2015. Nkululeko Habedi, also known as Flabber, left the South African hip-hop community after being stabbed by his girlfriend, Sindisiwe Manqele. And I really don't like speaking about things like this when it gets to South African hip-hop. I just want us to remember Flabber as one of the greatest South African hip-hop artists ever to touch down in this country. If you were a kid listening to this in 2040, if you were a kid listening to this in 2050, I don't care when you're listening to this, right? Ooh, Flabber was one of our greatest. And fight with me in the comments, but I think he's one guy who can maybe try and flinch, make pro flinch, you know? I'm not saying you could body pro, right? But maybe angazama like Tusu pro nyana. He's like that guy I see who can try, you know? But yeah, man, Flabber, one of the greatest. We also lost Nish, and obviously this was due to COVID-19. RP the GOATs, RP the legends.
I'm waiting for this to go up, like I ain't already above. I'm a big dog, you a pup. Nigga, pull and shut the fuck up. Just like Ray King, ikusheng a poster. Petu Kim take no semi got Sosa. And I see all my dreams getting closer. Now she offer ingaza, it's over. Heba jealousy pagas. Heba jealousy pagas. Hema kriza si pagan. Ati now I'm a rapper ni salad.